This is an Evergreen Media Network studio production.
Hello, this is the Evergreen Media Network. I'm Jesse Krisky. Joining us today, Antonia, Tammy, Canero. Antonia is an artisanal lavender oil producer within a lavender farm in Dordogne, France. Hi, Tammy. How are you today?
How are you, Jesse? Thank you so much for doing this. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you in the studio. You have an artisanal lavender farm in Dordogne, France. How in the world did you come upon a farm in Dordogne, France?
Well, when I was 19, my first husband and I watched this movie called The Day After. And we were so stunned by the devastation that we said, no, we got to find a place in the world where we can run away and hide. Mm-hmm. And he was from Uruguay, so we found a beautiful 400-hectare farm down there. And I discovered I was a farmer. At heart, believe it or not, I'm Little Bo Peep. And when he and I got separated, I realized I could not keep the farm because Uruguay is still a very male-oriented place. And a woman going to the auction house and buying and selling sheep and cows just wasn't happening. So I gave it back to him, and God was very good to me. And he, through a friend, gave me a farm in France. I love France, but he was an older man, and he and I both fell in love with the farm. I drove up to it after my law school exams in London, and there it was, starry, starry night. Beautiful big moon surrounded by sunflowers and this 1,000-year-old building, which is my farm. And that's how I came to a farm in Dordogne.
Oh, wow, 1,000-year-old building.
Yeah, it's a very old barn. The new house is from 1784.
Okay.
It's old.
Is that what we're looking at here on the picture?
No, that is in Vero Beach, the beautiful store my daughter and I bought.
Okay.
They are old log cabins on the left-hand side of US 1 heading to Wabasso Beach. And what you see as you're leaving from Vero Beach towards Wabasso is my farm on the side of the house.
Very good.
So you'll know you found the store.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's go back to the farm in Dordogne, France. Why did you start a lavender farm there? What is the history of lavender in Dordogne?
Well, there is no history.
No?
No, originally I thought. And the reason I started it was because I built a pool and I needed to get away mosquitoes. And a lot of people don't know, but lavender plants are the best mosquito exterminator, repellent there is. And I had fallen in love many years ago with a spread I saw in Martha Stewart of a lavender farm in New Hope. And I'd always wanted, when I grew up, to have something like that. And a friend of ours who is a landscape architect said, you're on the same latitude as Pennsylvania. So I said, yikes. I called up New Hope Farm. I met and spoke to a wonderful, wonderful man called Nico, who hence turned out to be one of the trainers in lavender of everyone in the States. And I took all my little knowledge over to France, and I started as the village idiot planting lavender on my 15 hectares there, and it grew beautifully. And then I had to find out what to do with it, because if you're a farmer, you don't share your secrets. But I was very lucky that my neighbor in Uruguay, who is French, introduced me to a man called Jean-Pierre Jobert. And his family were trying to grow eucalyptus to make eucalyptus oil in Uruguay. And they are one of the oldest lavender families in France, the original place for lavender. And so I called up Jean-Pierre, and he said, well, if you help me with my problems in Uruguay, I'll help you with your issues here in France. Anyway, we became fast friends. And he has helped me learn how to distill, all the little secrets of growing lavender, how to plant it. It's been amazing. And the lavender family has been incredible. I used to drive 8 hours with my little truck full of lavender that I harvested down to see Jean-Pierre in Provence. And he would distill it. We'll see later. He has a huge distillery. And my little sort of 4 ounces of lavender would come out of his huge distilling. And then I got lucky, and my friend from the village, who's been like my right hand running the farm when I'm not there, found a distiller an hour away from me in a wonderful place called Rocamadour. And so I made a new lavender friend, and his name is Jean-Pierre. And Jean-Pierre and his wife were having their wedding on his family's sheep farm, and they noticed lavender everywhere. And so they said to themselves, I wonder if we can grow lavender here. And they started growing lavender. And lo and behold, lavender grew in our area. And I started doing some research because everybody thinks that lavender only grows in Provence. And the hoi polloi of lavender go, well, how high is your lavender? And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, lavender, real lavender has to grow over 300 feet. And I'm like, no, I'm like at 100 feet. What's wrong with my lavender? And so I spoke to my friend Jean-Pierre, and he said, well, Tammy, have you noticed? I'm not on the coast of Cannes, am I? I'm up by the Alps. He said, we're up very high because lavender needs cold weather. And I said, that's why my friends in Maine can grow lavender. And I remembered the story of Nico, the guy from New Hope. And the first winter he was growing lavender, he heard there was going to be snow. And he ran out and put plastic bags over all of his lavender, only to find out that lavender actually quite likes the cold.
They like it.
So I started asking questions, and my friend Jean-Pierre from Rocamadour opened a distillery. And in that distillery, he started finding out really interesting things. And a lot of people started wanting to grow lavender. So he's actually become a very well-known research project within the lavender. And we've discovered that lavender originated in the Dordogne and in where he is, the Lot and Garonne. And that it was taken by the Romans to their encampments in Avignon, where they had their capital for a while, and they tried to grow it there, which is Provence, and didn't grow very well, so they headed for the hills. And that's why lavender has to be so high, because it's used to cold weather, and they took it to hot weather. So my farm in the Dordogne turned out to be a success, and also a learning curve for many people about lavender in France. And so we have formed an association that has lavender from that region. And there we are. Lavender in the Dordogne has moved from being the village idiot, or l'américaine, the American as they call me, to being a quite revolutionary thought.
Very good. All right. Well, lavender, this sure is a big part of your life. You are an artisanal lavender oil producer, and I'm sure you can tell me many of the benefits of lavender.
Yes, I could speak for a long time. I'll never forget sitting in a bar here in Vero Beach, and a young man said to me, so what do you do? And I said, well, I have a lavender farm, a lavender shop just down the road. And he said, a lavender shop? He said, I thought lavender was a color. and I thought about it, and I thought, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, most people don't think of lavender per se, but lavender has been one of the most important oils since back in Egyptian days. It has been a cleaning source. That's why in Spanish and in French, lavar is to wash.
To wash, yeah.
And lavande and lavender is the people that washed. You'll see a picture later of me dressed up as what we call a lavandière, who are the women that would go around collecting the washing and, wash the clothes. Because that's me in my little outfit. That's how I sell artisanally in the stores in France. I'm a member of a co-op, and that's how I started selling my lavender oil. Just actually like the gentleman who's the best friend of my friend Jean-Pierre Jobert in Provence, who started L'Occitane. A lot of people have heard of L'Occitane. It's a very famous French water, soap, cream. Anyway, he started selling like me in the local markets and in the local co-op stores. I don't plan to get that big, but I'm just saying. So the benefits of lavender have been around a long time. I like to divide them up into three kind of different qualities, The first one is the best known, which is calming, meditation, relaxing, soothing your muscles, making you feel, if you're having a massage, an immediate distension. But it also has medicinal properties. Psoriasis, burns. If you cut yourself, it's a disinfectant, and it also is a healer. It is used to get rid of ticks. It repels anything to do with rats, mice, ticks, lice, and of course mosquitoes, which is the best known.
Absolutely.
And it also is an incredible disinfectant, and it doesn't have any of the toxic smells or after effects. So a lot of people don't know, but you can use it for mold. It really is good at getting rid of mold and at cleaning. You can use it on any surface. It's not like a scrubber like Ajax or something, but people use cleaning products all the time, and this is just a beautiful cleaning product. It's also leaves a really nice smell in a room, and it you can put it in your laundry, you can put it in your vacuum cleaner. It has a lot of different kinds of uses that are cleansing and for cleaning products that is non-toxic. So those are my kind of three. It's for your health and your relaxation. It is for curing and medicinal, and it's for cleansing.
Very good. Well, I can see why the ancient Romans valued it so much, and they wanted it in their capital. Absolutely.
Yep. It was a big find for them.
Yeah. And so, okay, so take us back to your farm in Dordogne, France. We have video of it. So if you want to kind of tell us what we're looking at here.
Okay, well, you're looking at the farm, and you're looking at my friend's grandson, Sasha, who hand cuts the lavender. In July, around the 15th of July, we cut all of the lavender in about 2 weeks now. Sasha started cutting, that's his mum. Sasha started cutting the land for me. And now I have an actual machine, which is almost 70 years old, that my friend Jean-Jacques made, because I am now harvesting over 4 hectares. That is the first hectare that I started farming, you can see from my home. And those are the plants that I planted to get rid of the insects around my pool. And so Sasha started hand cutting. And then when I reached 2 hectares, Jean-Pierre gave me his machine, which he developed when he was 15 years old, because he's more of an engineer than a farmer.
Okay.
And he decided that he had enough of this hand cutting stuff, and he turned his father's it's the old corn cutter, and he turned it upside down.
All right.
It was the original combine harvester before it got big.
Right.
And he turned it upside down and hooked it to his father's, there's Sasha cutting, hooked it to his father's tractor backwards and started cutting.
Brilliant.
And he revolutionized the lavender business. And today they have developed his machine into magnificent things. But he offered to give me the original, and it feels to me the closest to hand cutting. It's less violent on the plants and more natural. So I have Lala, I call her. And there are my fields of lavender.
Very pretty.
This is the front, and I go all around the town. I live in a little village of about 20 houses. I live on the outskirts, and I've surrounded it with lavender. And so the villagers are very grateful because it becomes a very beautiful place, and they love to walk in it because the smell of lavender is so beautiful. And so they go for walks in the morning through my lavender. And recently I was able to adopt the mowing system that my friend Jean-Pierre, the guy who does my distilling, because I remember I told you his parents were sheep farmers. So he uses sheep to mow between the rows of lavender.
Okay.
Because sheep don't like lavender, but they'll eat up all of your weeds. Having been a sheep farmer in Uruguay, sheep don't leave anything. So it's a perfect mowing system.
I suppose so.
So I have now adopted the flock of one of my village farmers. And so we now are using the sheep to mow our between the rows of our lavender so we can cut it. Obviously, I still have my farmer doing it because the sheep won't do it all. It's 4 hectares, but it's still good. And the sheep are there, so everybody gets a good kick out of it, you know. I've given the farm, the village, a new sort of life.
Very nice.
And employ people from it, so I'm kind of like a little cottage industry.
Very good. And is this one of your farmers?
Yes, that is Dan the farmer.
Dan the farmer.
And he is just showing off because he managed to get Lala, who's in another picture, he's just cut for the first time our first big field with the little machine that I got from my friend Jean-Pierre. So maybe that'll show up.
Okay.
But so that is how they look after they're cut. They're not as attractive as they are when they're in full bloom, but they're still a pretty plant, and it's still a nice surrounding for the village. They are very grateful. They never stop telling me how glad they are that the village idiot turned into their automatic savior whenever they want to go for a walk.
Well, that's great. And so, go ahead.
What I wanted to mention was that the young woman you saw, Sasha's mother, is a cosmetologist, and it was she who encouraged me to create what has become my most popular product. We distill in a small distillery, so we are able to keep the lavender water. A lot of people know that you can't mix oil and water, right? Well, so mixing lavender oil with lavender water is a magical process because nobody in the industry keeps the water. When I first went to Jean-Pierre, he was just throwing it out to wash down the distiller afterwards. And I'm like, no, I want to keep that. And so what we've done with Stephanie is her name. Stephanie came up with a formula where we mix lavender oil and lavender water, and we make what we call a mist. So the mist is much easier to use. When I show you my products, you'll see it's in a squirt kind of bottle.
Okay.
So it's really nice because if you want to put it on your face to cool down or get rid of mosquitoes, you just squirt it. If you want to clean your house, you just squirt it. if you want to calm down your dog or your elderly mother or your children, it's a great squirt. I do it all the time to my grandchildren. Hands up, happy water. A teacher in Argentina told me that. It calms people down.
Interesting.
A friend of mine who has an old age home started using it, and she said it's miraculous, Tammy. You know, you don't squirt it at people's faces. My friends now squirt it at their husbands. They're like, shut up. But you know, the elderly, sometimes dementia can make people very upset. And when you squirt the lavender mist around them, it just calms them. And I started doing it to my friend's dog when she used to come over for the 4th of July. And wow, it's just, I learned it completely calms the dogs down as well.
Well, that's a great idea.
You can't do it for cats, okay?
No, okay.
Not cool for cats.
Okay.
Or pregnant women.
Okay.
But it's a wonderful, you know, it's turned out to be a very unique product. And a lot of people say to me, well, why don't you make shampoo and all this stuff? I don't know if you know about the European Common Market, but there are so many rules and regulations. I mean, you have to wipe your feet before you walk into this and wash your hands and have a shower before. So, no. But my dear friend Jean-Pierre's daughter has created a whole line of organic products, which I sell in my store, from lavender. So I figured, why bother? She makes them, I can sell them.
Very
so
good.
We sell her stuff. And I also sell soap from Marseille, which is made with lavender, which is a wonderful, wonderful soap. I bring it from France. I don't make it. And recently, a lot of people have said to me, why don't you have any candles? And I couldn't find anyone to make them. And my father passed, and we had a celebration of life for him last Sunday. And I was talking to my cousin. She said, I'll make the candles for you. So I now have candles made with my lavender oil. So it's really quite special.
Very good.
So we sell them all at the store that you saw. It's on US 1 on the right-hand side. There's my mist.
Okay.
And there's the oil. And those are my baskets, which we sell, which are very nice gifts for, like, you know, hostess gifts, or if you're going to someone for Easter or for a party, you know, it's a nice little gift to take because it's unusual.
Absolutely.
And there's an explanation of it. And, those are the sachets. I forgot to talk about the sachets. The sachets are handmade by my friend Stephanie, who you saw in the picture, and she hand paints them. But they have the lavender flower.
Okay.
And the lavender flower, the scent lasts forever. And it's, a lot of people put it in their closets. But if you leave your home in Vero Beach, stash them in all of your closets because they keep away all the moths and the mites.
Oh, good.
And they smell delicious. They don't smell like that nasty, what's that stuff called that you put in? Camphor? No, I don't know. There's some horrible stuff we used to put in, but I just put this in and it gets rid of all of the silkworm, mites, anything that can get into your clothing and closets. Yeah. And what I found out as a sidekick in France was I had it on half of a closet, and on the other half of the closet I didn't have it. And I found some unpleasant rat droppings and stuff on one side, and the side with the lavender was completely free. So that's how I found out that mice and rats don't like it either. So it's a nice way to safeguard your home without horrible smells.
Very good.
When you leave.
Very good. Lovely. You have amazing products. And how do we buy these products when we are very interested in how do I get a hold of these products?
You can get them in Vero by buying them online. You can get them outside of Vero by buying them online. If you're here in Vero, you can go to the store. It's a lovely store. It's an old log cabin that was built in the 30s. A guy was trying to create a whole log cabin village, which didn't work. But we get the benefit of it. So it's a fun place to go. Or please go to Shop Salvayu.
.com.
It is the website where you can order. shopsalvayou.com. The word salvayou is save in Latin, salva, and you in English, and that's the name of my farm. So Save You. So that's where you can go. Shop at saveyou.com.
Very good. Shop SALVAYOU.com. All right.
So thank you for listening. I hope it's been informative, and I do hope that you partake of this unique product and use it for your health and to rest your souls.
Very good. ShopSalvaYou.com. That's the website. Antonia Tammy Canero, lavender oil producer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right. Until next time, take care, everybody.
Thank you, mate.